Hello, everybody. My name is Glenn, and I want to thank you for joining with me today. I hope everybody is having a blessed, amazing, and abundant day. I wanted to jump right into the topic that I wanted to talk about, and that is the power of words. Of course, we know that a word can represent a name. It can be an expression. They can be terms, designations, and etc. They are used to state thoughts and ideas that we communicate with each other. They can either be in written form or verbal form. As we all know, words have enormous power, and they can be used in a manner which is constructive or destructive. So what is it that the words that we say, what does it tell about us? The words that we constantly say give some insight into the matters of our heart. It says a lot about who we are as people. Words are the verbal representation of who we are. When our emotions are paired with our vocabulary, it tells the true story of what we hold deep within us. We could communicate something that is positive, or we could be exposing something within us that is negative. As we listen to the people that are around us, how they speak to us, you can usually gauge a person's level of thinking just by listening to what it is that they're saying. Generally speaking, if you see a person who is radiating confidence and they're speaking in a communication style that promotes positivity, we can usually tell that that type of person is a very positive individual because it is in the style that they speak. But when you come across a person that verbalizes a lot of uncertainty and they're, seem as though they're full of pessimism, if you take the time just to examine their life, you'll probably find out that uncertainty is the order of their day, and it lingers daily in their activities. The words, the phrases, the sentences that we speak into the atmosphere become the things you attract into your life. As we examine how we look outside of ourselves and we see the things that are going on around us, and we try to figure out what our place is in the world. What is it that we want? What is it that we want to attain? What is our goals? What is our inner desire in life to achieve something? What is that? And we begin to look outside at what fulfills us. As we do that, we have to examine how it is that we are speaking all the time, because then the way in which we speak can determine the way in which we manifest. As I said earlier, we could be speaking things that are constructive into our life, and we're bringing such optimism, as I said, and we're bringing such life into our words that we begin to attract things that are on that level. However, if we begin to become a people who are looking at life through the lens of being afraid, being in fear, wondering what tomorrow's going to bring, wonder if I'm capable, whether I'm able, whether I can function in such a manner that will allow me to achieve my highest goals, you notice that those people just don't have the motivation to do the very thing that they need to do in order to get to the next level. So as we are around individuals and we try to gravitate towards people who I would hope will be individuals who are exuding positivity, because if they're exuding positivity, then you're also taking in that same energy that that person is giving off. And it allows you and it enables you to be able to use that as positive motivation in your life to seek your highest goals. So what are the words, the phrases, and the sentences that we speak into the atmosphere becoming the things that we attract in our lives. There's a saying that goes, if it's not in you, it won't come out of you. The thoughts, the feelings, and the ideas that we harbor deep within us always find their way to the surface. And so as you continue to speak positivity, your life circumstances will have a way of responding positively to you. However, on the other hand, if you speak negatively, you'll find that the circumstances that surround you will reflect negatively right back at you. So whenever you're seeking to set goals, meet them, as well as exceed them, if you're constantly speaking something into your life that is positive, telling yourself that you're able, that you are capable, that you can do it, then you will find that you are motivating yourself to the point where you are able to go out there and do the things that you would like to do. That does not mean that it won't take hard work. That doesn't mean that it won't take drive. It won't take knocking down some doors, hitting the pavement day after day. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have to put in some work, but certainly it is going to give you the endurance that you need in order to get where you want to go. But in contrast, if you are looking at life in such a manner which you are so negatively at life, you'll find that it becomes harder for you to not only to function, but it's harder for you to get close to where it is that you want to be. Why is that? Because the power in the words that you speak also speak power into what manifests in your life, positive and negative, of course. Let's dig a little bit deeper. You may notice that individuals that constantly see things as being uncertain, and they communicate uncertainty in the words that they say, you may notice that their life always seems to be uncertain. However, if you see people that are optimistic, they lean towards seeing things as being on the bright side, not only with their communications, but with their positive actions. You will notice that the conditions around them are more favorable. They're more accomplishing to them. They're more complementary to the style of the positive nature in which they're giving off. This is my personal belief. When the state of affairs in your life begin to look like they are out of order, when the conditions suggest that they're not going to get any better, when confusion begins to rear its head in one's life, you can use the power of your words to combat that. And you can bring order, you can bring control, and you can bring peace in your life, all with the right ways of speaking. So the way that you can combat confusion with your words is to speak. When you begin to encounter negativity, discouragement, and hindrances in your life, you should be using your words to create boundaries between you and these situations. These boundaries should be set as it relates to the interactions that you have, like with people, the influences, and the temptations that come your way. These words should be communicating the following to you as a way to combat these three things that I said: hindrance, discouragement, and negativity. You should be telling yourself the following: you will not defeat me. You will not block me. You will not kill my joy. You will not keep me from my promise. And you won't break me down. When you speak these words to yourself, it begins to influence the way in which you respond to the negative energy that comes your way. Your words should be removing the limitations that we sometimes artificially place on ourselves. When you positive speak into your life, you will increase your capacity to dream, to achieve, and to attain, as well as acquire. The words that you should be communicating to yourself should be, I will be. And then you can add whatever it is. I will do. I can see. I shall live. I declare. And it is done. You will begin to see things from the perspective of, I'm a conqueror. I'm victorious. I will not be defeated. The enemy will not have my mind, and I'm taking my life back. This is how you use positive speak in your life as a way to motivate you, as a way to break past negative barriers that sometimes get built up in our lives for any number of different reasons, from any number of different people or any number of different circumstances, that as we look outside or we listen and we say, this is impossible, I can't do this. We should always have at our disposal an arsenal of positive language that we begin to affirm in our lives. The more you begin to affirm positive speak into your life, as I said, you will find that positive things will begin to happen in your life. You will not face a lot of uncertainty about things. You will actually have a way of knowing how to handle it. You will begin to not allow the things that you see to hinder what you believe about yourself. So it will also cause you to not be in a state of indecisiveness, but it will give you certainty, because indecisiveness is just something that we should avoid. When you're indecisive, it communicates to yourself that you're not settled on an issue. It opens itself up to you vacillating, which is wavering between two different opinions or actions. It breeds inaction in you. It prevents you from moving forward because you don't know exactly what you should be doing. You don't know to what extent you should go or whether you should do anything at all. It keeps you stuck and it causes you to remain stagnant. But when you have certainty, certainty should be your order of business. One should be certain about everything that they're doing. You should be knowing where it is that you're going and how you plan to get there, as well as what you're going to do when you arrive. Sometimes you find yourself in a position where you just need a little bit of motivational speak. Because when you listen to motivational speakers, you realize that they use words that energizes the audience and inspire them to act. It stimulates them. You can go to a motivational speaker and just their style, the way that they talk, the way they put words and sentences together, it can take you from a place of not knowing whether or not you want to tackle that very thing that you had in your mind or in your heart. And that person can speak something into you. And when you leave from that motivational speaker, you feel this sense of energy that makes you want to jump up, get out, and do something. So, as it relates to when we hear these motivational speakers, they're uplifting us. They're giving us what we want to hear and what we need to hear in order to go wherever it is that we want to go. When you're feeling a lack of enthusiasm or feeling a lack of drive, you don't have that fire and desire to do something, it can be astonishing how the right words that are put together can pick you up out of the rut and push you to get up and do something. The right words to a person who is sick, for example, can put them out of their fear. It can relax their anxiety and their despair. It can help them to improve their condition and put them on the road to recovery. The right words can shift someone out of a state of depression into a state of cheerfulness. Powerful, isn't it? But those are when you are using words responsibly and using words in a manner in which they are needed in that particular moment, and you're speaking them into the person that needs to hear it. It is like with me, my earnest prayer is always that I say, Lord, give me the right things to say and send me to the right people that need to hear it. I understand that you can't speak things to everybody the same way. You can't communicate to everybody the same way. And that's why we always have to be mindful that we are talking in a manner that will uplift the right person at the right time, at the right stage in their life. Because we don't want to impose ourselves on anyone if it is not the right thing to do at the right moment. When we communicate verbally, it goes a long ways in aiding us to realize our ambitions and our aspirations. When we declare things into the atmosphere, we are committing our thoughts to words, and those words have a way of manifesting themselves in real life. Some of the things that we should be saying to ourselves is, I will be more productive. I will maintain good habits. I will learn a new skill. I will improve my financial situation. I'll be more positive. I will constantly work to improve myself. I will embrace a positive mind. And I will avoid negative people. I will do some self-development. And I will eliminate things in my life that are not beneficial and acquire skills and habits that are valuable and rewarding. These are words, when you speak them, they help to bring things in our life into fruition. Because what it is it's feeding our soul what we need in order to thrive in different aspects of our lives. I realize that, again, the thoughts that are in our minds become words that come out of our mouths. You see, if it's not in you, it can't come out of you. The words that come out of our mouth become the actions that you take in your physical existence. Thoughts that are shaped in your mind when they are communicated verbally in words will tend to be reinforced, solidified, and manifest in your natural life. That is the reason why I'm always conscious, especially with young people. Young people, they come into the world with a lot of enthusiasm. They come into the world with everything being new, everything being possible. And somewhere along the way, things happen. And depending on what happens to them, it could either reinforce that sense of, I can do it, I can go, I can be. And then it can also feed into them a sense of doubt, a sense of fear and uncertainty about themselves, a sense of insecurity. Thoughts that are shaped in your mind when they are communicated verbally in words will tend to become reinforced, solidified, and manifest in your natural life. That's why I am careful of what I say, because you could be actually speaking word curses into people's lives by saying the wrong thing. You know, when we use our words recklessly and we don't think about them, you know, you could be aimlessly saying something like, you know, you're no good, or you're never going to be nothing. You're never going to be nothing. You're not going anywhere. You're not smart. When people are saying those type of words, those are word curses, because those words will tend to live in you long after it has been said. It can be used as a way for some people, when they hear something like that, they have enough within them to counteract that negative speak by saying, I'm going to prove you wrong. But then there's some people who don't have that in them. They haven't developed that sense of courage to say, I don't believe that. And so therefore those word curses, in either case, it lives within an individual. And when that replays over and over again at later points in that person's life, it really can shift them into a state of mind where they are doubting themselves. That they can sit there and every time they have an obstacle that is in their life, they begin to say, maybe I can't do this. And that is the reoccurring theme that comes back up, all due to the fact that somebody made a statement, whether it was intentional or unintentional. It will continue to afflict and wound an individual at different points in their lives, all because somebody was making a reckless statement. Instead of calling a person out, why don't you invite them in with compassion? Invite them in with a little bit of love and understanding. We can have disagreements, but it is a mature person who cannot take the easy road and do like some do. They go for words that are like putting a knife in somebody and turning it. And you're hoping that every day the words that you say will have an effect on that person's life. What about if you took the initiative to do something different? What if you decided that no matter what happens, no matter what the situation, I'm going to handle this with intelligence and with wisdom? While it would be easy for me to tackle this thing this way, I can inflict maximum harm this way. Why don't I do this? Why don't I show that individual just how much smarter I am? Why don't I show them that the very thing that they may have been provoking me to do, or the very thing that I wanted to do simply because I wanted to be intentional about hurt and intentional about how I inflict pain, why don't I think about what I'm saying? Let it process through my brain a little bit. And then sometimes you'll find if you give yourself a split second not to say something, you may find out that you won't say it. Now, I speak these things as a person who generally, I'm a positive, I'm an upbeat person. It would become devastating to me simply to say something to somebody that would cause them to think bad of themselves, to make them hopeless, to make them helpless. That's something that doesn't live in me. I can't even imagine wanting to do that. It's not a part of me. And so it is hard for me to understand why it is that anyone would want to do something like that. Now, I do realize that there are certain times in your life that things happen and you don't fully think things out to the point where, what they say, you got caught off guard and you acted based on your emotions rather than based on your mind. And so you just begin to, spew things out there. I feel as though me as an individual, I like to look around, examine things that are going on in life. I like to examine the people that are around me. I like to examine the situations that I face. And one thing that I learned is that it is more important sometimes for you to listen than it is for you to speak. You can encounter some situations where it is so convenient that when adversity comes your way, that you would simply give in to wanting to respond. But there are cases where it is wise for you to ignore it. It doesn't necessarily make you weak. It doesn't mean that you are walking away from being able to stand up for yourself. But there are some individuals, loved ones, friends, that if you take the time and you listen to what it is that they're saying, you can hear the pain that they're going through. You can hear maybe some of the things that they're dealing with in their own natural lives. And what tends to happen is that person will maybe unaware, unintentionally, they may end up coming at you in a certain way. And it may end up being a case where it's being taken out on you unintentionally. And it's not until you bring it to the person's attention at times when it's right, and to make them understand that if you are truly their friend, if you are truly concerned about them, that you will hear that pain. You will speak life into the adversity, the sorrows, the pains. You speak positivity to them. I understand that it's a gift that some people have. Some people, it takes work in order for you to find that place within yourself that you can offer up something to someone that will completely change the way in which they think and the way in which they feel. It is a practice that we must do as we are thinking about things in our head, that we make sure everything just does not escape out of our mouth. You know, your words can be sweet as honey and as poisonous as venom. So these are my thoughts for today. I pray that you sincerely hear my heart. These are my thoughts and my opinions. And I just pray that everybody would live life to the fullest. Live your purpose. Find your purpose. It may require you do some soul searching. Talk to God. Pray. Ask Him to reveal these things to you. Ask Him to, help you along your journey. Help you to see what it is that you're good at. And the thing that you're good at, when it's positive for yourself and for others, you will find that maybe that is where you're supposed to be using your energy towards. We all have different gifts. God has blessed us uniquely as individuals. And sometimes we are convinced that what's on the other side of the fence is greener and that it looks prettier. And that if I only had it the way that person has it, I will be happy. But as you find out, when you're trying to operate in somebody else's gift, it never seems to work out as well for you. That is why if you find what it is that you should be doing, find the direction in which you should be going, and working to attain that every day, you will find out that life becomes easier. It may not become easier in terms of everything being at your disposal to the point where you don't have to worry, but you'll be able to operate in life with a sense of calm, that come what may from day to day, that when you know who you are and you know who you belong to, that you don't have as much confusion in your mind, you don't have as much uncertainty in your heart. And no matter what things look like, that you're always offering up a positive word to counteract whatever you may be feeling. And it doesn't even matter if anybody else understands that. Many times people won't understand it. There are people that will look at you and they will be confused as to why it is and how it is that you're still smiling. Some of them will have an insight on some of the things that are going on in your life. And they'll look at you and say, how is it that you're still able to manage? That's all because you took the time to speak a positive word in your life. You took the time to understand and harness the power of your words, and to use that as a tool to empower you to be your best. I want to thank you once more and again for listening to me. I pray that you're blessed. I pray that you have a sense of love in your heart. You have kindness towards your life, and realize that you are capable of reaching your highest goals only if you remain positive, that you're positive up here, that you're positive in here, and you allow positive things to come out of here. Grace, blessings, and peace be unto you all. You take care. Have an awesome and amazing day. Bye-bye.